Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear humanity, dear human beings, men and women, and young men and young women, this message is of health matters, health issues, whereby we are looking at sexual health, human bodies and diseases, and hazardous practices that may put your body in danger of being, or it may put your body or your health in danger of contracting a disease. My people, one thing I should mention, as you can see, there is something which says WHO. The reference to that is that my information should be forwarded and come across what we call the World Health Organization, because some of the information I'm going to give you, maybe in modern society you don't have this information, because I'm going to use references taken from the environment, and some of the information is encrypted and coded within your surroundings, you as human beings, either with on your domesticated animals and animals that you keep on your farm and whatever. I use references from there because if we are talking about human health, we have to have references that point out facts and evidence that these are the hazardous practices which you as human beings engages into in terms of sexual health or sexual health, and those hazardous practices are not kind of practiced by animals within your domesticated animals either in your farm or whatever. And that one, I use it as a reference. Okay. Dear humanity, we are looking at health, human bodies, and diseases. First of all, before we continue, I'll point it out that every man or every woman is born of a woman, or is carrying the womb of a woman. Every living human being, a man or a woman today, was carried in the womb of a woman for 9 months or more, a few days and whatever. That makes you a human being whose existence was between a sperm and an egg in your mother's womb. When you are born as a man or woman, you have the responsibility as an individual to look after your health and protect it from any hazardous practices which may lead your body into disease. Which, if you engage in those hazardous practices, it may lead to your body into disease. Disease is something that mankind do not see, or they only realize that disease is well there when it has struck them, or when they are down on bed, or in an ICU or whatever. But disease is around every human being. With that, the most holy group of Allah said when He created the human being, He laid out divine laws that governs human beings, how to live in their societies, how to live in with their children and their fathers and their mothers and their sisters and what have you. Of which men were given what we call, human beings, we are given what we call a percentage of mental development, which dictates that you can easily recognize that this is my mother, that is my dad, that is my sister, that is my whatever, my brother, and so on and so on. That allows you to also to recognize that your brother is different from your mother is different from your father, and so on and so on, and your sister is different from your brother. That allows you to be able to differentiate a human gender as well as the human human gender, which is if you say your sister, she's a girl. If you say your brother, he is a boy. Or if you say your dad, he's a man. If you say your mother, she's supposed to be a woman. So when Allah created human beings, He said, I have created you human beings that do not engage in casual sex behaviors, whereby today you sleep with a girl across the road and say, I like that girl. And you kind of engage in sexual practices, casual sex behaviors. In them, there is a lot of disease. A lot of disease. And a lot of heartbreaks, as well as so many things that accompany any casual sex practices. Because if you as a loose man who says, I'll sleep there with a girl across the road today, and you might be walking the next week on another kind of part of the village, and you meet another girl and say, oh, I like that girl, and you end up having casual sex, or you engaging with her in a casual sex practice, whereby this week we are with a different girl, and because you went around the village the other week, you found another girl, and you engaged, and sometimes your engagement may result in unwanted pregnancies or unwanted pregnancies. So Allah has said, do not engage in casual sex behaviors. If you reach an age where the age where you feel you want to have a man and get married, tell your parents, I think, I'm old enough now. I would like to either find myself a man and settle down with that man and begin a family life. But do not engage in any casual sex practices whereby this weekend you go in the bar, engage, drink as much as you can, and you end up sleeping with any man. Because sometimes when you girls go to the bar, you after you've drunk, you find yourself that you wake up the next day, you're in a different part of the country, with a person that you have never met before, apart from that very evening, for a few hours when you are drinking, and after drinking, you did not know how he took you to his house, but you wake up in a different part of the country, in a different whatever, with a different person or a person you have never met before. And that will happen this week. And if you go out to next week or weekend, you might do the same thing. After drinking, another man will pick you and take you in a different part of the country. You wake up in the next day and you find yourself that you are in a different part of the country, in a different man, with a different man, and so on and so on. So, for that, Allah has said, do not engage in sexual or casual sexual behaviors, because you get heartbroken, you do a lot of things that are sometimes unhealthy. And for your information, you as an individual, you are responsible for your health, you are responsible for every, whatever of your health. You do not have to say that, you are responsible for you being in good health. That responsibility is, if we put it at a percentage of something like 10,000, that is too little. That percentage is too little. Let's put it at 100,000, 99%. You as an individual, you are responsible to make sure that your heart is okay, your mental well-being is very well, and every part of your body is in good health, because that is your responsibility. not a surgeon's an ICU surgeon is responsible, because an ICU intensive care unit surgeon's responsibility is either to split your chest so that he puts your heart to a kind of temporarily kind of put your heart into whatever, or to things like that. But your responsibility as a young girl, as a young man, is to look after your health. Is your responsibility as an individual is more than 100,099% that you have to make sure that your heart is in good health. Every muscle in your body is in good health. Okay. Today we are going to look at sexual health. Sexual health is a practice whereby you reach the age and you feel that you'd love to. You look at a girl and you see that she's beautiful. In modern society or in the Western Hemisphere, I've come across men and whatever, whereby they say there are practices whereby men engage in the same kind of, a man says, he finds kind of another man looking, whatever, he find them, whatever, I don't know, I can't, it's hard to come out of my mouth, but there are men who say they like their fellow men. And with that, they kind of engage in what we call hazardous sexual practices. Why do I call it hazardous sexual practices? In the Western Hemisphere, in the Western world, or in the world today, there are men who say they find other men kind of sexually, I wouldn't say, they say they like their fellow men. Before I explain this, I'll show you something that you should know. One, you are a man. You have a mother and a father who brought you onto this planet. You as an individual, a man who say you like other men, you have a father and a mother who brought you into existence. Because life of every man or every woman is given, is a man or a woman is able to be a living human being because of either through a sperm into her mother's egg, or the egg in a woman, and so on and so on. Apart from that, a man and a man cannot have what you call a baby. If a man says, I engage in a sexual practice with another man, you cannot have what you call a baby, but you have what you call disease. Disease. That's why I said hazardous sexual practices. Why is it hazardous sexual practices? Because we've seen that you as a man who say you like other men, you have you grew up when you are between 5 and 10 or whatever, and 13, you were looking at your mother every day and your father every day. And I think if they are still alive, you still recognize them that they are your father. Oh, that is my father, that is my mother. So that means you were in a womb of your mother for 9 months. And when you came onto whatever you became of age, you thought you like other men. You like a man other than a woman. But I'm going to take you back and show you that your mother breastfed you. Your mother gave you a breast on her chest so that you suckle the milk in her breast, so that you gain life, you'll be able to live. And when you are at the age of whatever, and you say that you like or you find that other men you like men, I mean sleeping with men, I think you either need a medical kind of help so that you put your head in order. Because with that, Allah has said, do not engage in a sexual or in an abnormal or hazardous sexual practices. Why? A man and a man engaging in a sexual whatever practice, its outcome is disease. Because we've seen that your father and your mother engaged in a sexual behavior practice, they ended up having you as a man of whatever age you are today. That you are in existence because of your mother and your father. So, any act of sexual health which involves same-sex partners, or let's say a man and a man or a woman and a woman, that act is hazardous, is a hazardous practice, and it's a sick whereby your health needs to be organized. Because we said you have every individual has to be able to look after their health, and the responsibility to that health is to you as an individual, not a surgeon in the ICU, intensive care unit, not a medical practitioner whom you visit every morning and say, I couldn't sleep because of this and that. One, this my people listen to these things very carefully, because I was sent on this planet to show you that today, in the what you call modern life today, already in humans, there is a deadly disease, worse than AIDS, in incubation in human bodies. There is a deadly disease incubating in the bodies of men and women. And that disease is deadlier than the AIDS disease that you saw maybe between the 80s and whatever, which is AIDS is also still present. But there is a disease in bodies of human beings incubating. It's just a matter of time and the environment that will trigger that whatever, that men will die and the entire race of human beings might end up being destroyed. Okay, we are going back to see about health and the hazardous sexual practices. A hazardous sexual practice is whereby a man and a man engages in sexual whatever, gratification, whatever. We saw that you as an individual, you have a person you call a mother who brought you onto this planet. And you have a person you call a dad who brought you on this planet, who you looked at while you were growing up. You either saw him kissing your mother and this and that. Talking about kissing and hazardous sexual practices. When Allah created a man, He did not, on the body of a man, there is not any part that semen from another man should be put, because the body of a man is a man, whereby you as an individual, you imagine that if your dad did not meet your mother, and maybe there was no whatever that see it that way. If your dad did not have the ability to have your mother, do you think you would have been alive today? Do you think you would have been alive today? If he had the same whatever that you are having today, that you find other men kind of pleasing to you, I'm interpreting an ayah from the Quran, from the Holy Quran, or from Mother Nature. Yeah, okay, let me say, I'm teaching you how to see life from a Mother Nature point of view. I'm not attacking anybody, I'm just showing you the health hazards which arises from hazardous practices or hazardous sexual practices and diseases which occur in human bodies if they do engage in what you call men or same-sex practices, whereby some of you have animal on your farms, whereby you have a pig, a goat, and a sheep, and those whatever, they live on your farm, and they have you have a male sheep and a female goat, or a female sheep, or a male goat and a female goat, a male cow and a female cow. If you watch them regularly, even a horse, a male horse and a female horse, if you watch them, you find that if a male horse met with a male horse, there will be kind of a bad look on each other. A bad look on each other. But if a male horse came across a female horse, there will be kind of a joy and whatever. I think you can use that as a reference from Mother Nature. Okay, I'll give you another reference that because we said when Allah created human beings, He gave them what we call mental development for a man or a woman to be able to recognize that is my mother, that is my brother, that is my daddy, that is my sister, that is my uncle, that is my little cousin, that is what have you. And my mother is supposed to be a woman, and my father is supposed to be a man. So your father is a man, and your mother is a woman. And then we've seen that a female horse can always be kind of a male horse finds a female horse pleasing, because these animals which we may say that their intelligence percentage is kind of lower than a human being who can come and running and say, "Hey, mommy, good morning, good afternoon. I've just met Aunt Susan somewhere on the road, and she said, I say hello to you." So you as a man today, you say you like, and you have, first of all, you have a percentage of mental development whereby you recognize that is a mother, that is my sister, that is my mother, that is my daddy, that is my sister, my whatever. Then you, out of nowhere, I don't know what kind of makes your mind that think that you find whatever in another man. You can either use two terminologies to determine that. Either you are not well, you need support, you need help, so that you put your mind in a direction whereby you look up to either your mother and then, or to your sister who is married to another man, who has a man and have a baby, little boy or little girl, or you enter into a world of disease, a world of hazards. A world of hazards, because any semen that enters another man's a semen from a man and enters another man's body, that act is described as disease, very deadly diseases. Some of you have come across what we call AIDS, which is still present today in your so-called modern societies. AIDS, HIV, or AIDS. Many of you have struggled, have tried to fight the disease, but they cannot. Why? First of all, let me put myself into the picture of a semen in your body, as you as a man. Let me put myself in the picture of a semen, because I was created between a semen and an egg of my mother. If I was a semen because I'll show you something about semen in men. Any semen has the same intelligent capabilities as you who is living today as a human being who grew up looking up to your mother and saying hello to your mother whenever you woke up or whenever you came back from school, whenever you did anything that you had to do. You had at the end of the day to say something to your mother. I'm showing you me as a semen because I grew up, I was born of a mother and my father, and I was able to be a living human being because my father did not put me in the wrong place. I'm a semen. My father did not put me in the wrong place. He did not put me in the anus of another man. My father did not put me in the anus of another man. He put me in the vagina of my mother. So I'm living today, and I'm saying to you, as a semen, a semen has intelligence capabilities. It's a cell, and a living cell with intelligence capabilities, with a program that once a semen enters a woman's body, in a woman's body there is what we call a range, a reception, where the semen finds something that makes it happy and enjoys and whatever. After that, it fertilizes the egg in whatever, and then we are created. But if a semen enters in a wrong place, for instance, in the anus of a man, that is disease, because the mechanisms in a semen is that if it finds itself somewhere where it is not designated to be, its program is to survive, either as a disease or as to fertilize an egg and be a future man like the man I'm talking to or the woman I'm talking to out there. To be a human being who was born of a woman and is able to walk on the street every day. And I do it. I'm talking to you as a semen, because I'm a survivor, I'm a living human being who was, my father put me in the right place, which is my mother's womb, whatever, in the ovaries, and I fertilized the egg which was in there, and then I ended up becoming who I am today. That way, I am a human being who is able to talk to you so that you hear the difference between a semen going in the wrong place and what happens, and the program that is in a semen, whereby some of you can say you can call yourself, you think you are a doctor, and some of you think you are a pilot. Some of you think you are a businessman. The same program that you have, you as a living man today, is the same program that a semen is programmed. If it enters a place where it is not supposed to be, if it enters in the anus of a man, it will be disease. It will go on the structure of disease. And that disease, no man whatsoever can cure that disease. That disease, no man on this planet can have whatever to cure that disease. My people, we are looking at hazardous sexual practices. And we've seen what a semen, or the program in a semen, that the program in a semen is equivalent to the program of a business, a billionaire who is working on whatever today, a pilot who is flying a Boeing 380 from London to whatever, to New York, or from New York to Australia or whatever. That is because that man was a seaman, and then his father was a good man, and he put him in the right place. In the right place, in the vagina of his mother. and that man is able to fly 24 hours, whatever, with kind of enjoying himself. And you are a businessman who has, let's say, 500 million pounds or 1 billion pounds on your account. And you are a man whose father and whose mother were able to do the right thing, and they did put the semen in the right place where they were supposed to be. You as a man today who say you find other men kind of pleasing, because I've showed you that the intelligence program in a semen that you say you want to put in the anus of another man, whereby as soon as it lands in the anus or it enters the body of another man, it will be disease that no man can cure. Because I am saying to you, I am a semen. I am a semen who was put in the right place. But also, I am a semen who can easily, I'm an interpreter of this ayah who has been given access to enter a human body and look at what these things, how life is meant to be lived on this planet. Because we saw that a human being was given a mental development whereby he can recognize his mother, or she can recognize her mother. You can recognize your mother. You can recognize your daughter. You can recognize anybody. As well as being able to separate, to look at an animal and say, this is my horse. And you have even the courtesy, the audacity to say that this is my horse. And the horse has, it might have a calf, but it has to get that calf from another male horse, not a female horse. And with that, because we said you have a farm or a stable where you have horses, pigs, and what have you. A horse can only meet with a male horse, and they have joy. If you had different male horse on the whatever, they will always be in confrontation with each other or trying to defend the one female on the stable, because each horse on whatever desires the female. It doesn't desire the male or the female, the male or whatever on the body. It prefers the female horse better than that. But that is in the mental development of a horse. That the mental development in a horse is that it does not have anything to do, or does not find any other. A horse does not have any kind of interest except war from another male horse. Why? Why do you think that is? Because in the program of the semen in a horse, it says the only pleasure that you ever be able to find that is satisfying is in a female horse, not a male horse. So we are looking at hazardous sexual practices that may lead to diseases that have no cure whatsoever. Because we've seen that I've shown you that I'm a semen which was put in the right place. But then after whatever, I'm coming on this planet once again, because I was put in there as a semen in the right place more than 1,000 years ago. And I used to live in China. I was put in the whatever, my whatever was put in my semen was put in the right place more than 1,000 years, more than 7,000 years ago. And I used to live in China, near the Forbidden City. But today, here I am telling you that if you do have a stable whereby a house or a business worth billions of pounds, but with that billions of pounds, you find that disease, hazardous whatever practices, kind of have any benefit. No, there is not any benefit, because many of you medical whatever practitioners, I've come across cases of AIDS, HIV/AIDS, and many of you who are in the modern whatever today, you have celebrities and what have you who have succumbed to the scourge of AIDS. Why? Why do you think that AIDS did occur? I'll show you something, because I showed you that I'm a semen in your body or in your testicles, which you intend to put in the anus of another man. Do you know what will happen? Because I told you, if a semen enters in the vagina of a woman, there is a range, a reception, and there is all whatever the goodies that a semen desires, either to fertilize an egg in the womb of that woman, in the reception where you're finding in the reception of a woman, or and then keep on. So if you whatever, you are born and you become a human being. If you put me in the wrong place, this is what will happen. I have a program in my head, or in my program that which you designed me, the same program that you have that has made you a billionaire. The same program that you think you are intelligent, but you're a billionaire, you have more than 5 billion pounds, 500 billion pounds on your account. That is in terms of monetary whatever. So when I enter you, when I expect that a man with such a ability to gather 5 billion whatever pounds, billion whatever onto his account, has the sense to realize that he remembers that he has a person he calls the mother. He has a person he calls the dad. When you mention, say, the semen that is in you, which is me, you're going to put it somewhere wrong, or you expect someone to put a semen in your body. This is what will happen. The program in me as a semen tells me that the program that which Allah put, the most holy prophet Allah put in the semen, is that if you enter the woman's womb, there is wrong. There is something to celebrate. There is something nice, very beautiful. But if you enter the human body in a part that is not designated, is not the right place, this is what you have to survive. Because the same program that is in a semen, when it enters a woman's womb, it has to survive. Because many of you medical can prove it that when a man ejaculates in a woman, the number of semens that enter to try and fertilize an egg, they are more than either 5 million semens at one given time. At one given time, 500 million whatever semens enter to only fertilize one egg in a womb of a woman. So you are among the semen that you, as a man who has become gone out of his head, try to put in the anus of another man. With the program in my head, whatever in me as a semen, that if I enter a woman's body, I may kind of swim and get the egg to the egg first and fertilize it and become a living human being. But if I'm put in the wrong place, this is what will happen. I'll become disease, and the program in me is to survive. But to survive with question marks with me. Why was I put in the wrong place? Why was I put in the wrong place? Why was I put in the anus of a man? Whereby there is no wrong for me to enjoy myself. So you put me in the wrong place, I became disease. A disease like AIDS, which shreds every every muscle tissue of a human body, which causes all sorts of tumors in a human body, which destroys every tissue, which destroys everything that is in a living human body. Why? Because you did mess up and put me in the wrong place. Because you have $5 billion or $500 billion on your account. We're intelligent. With that intelligence, it would have been wise if you put me in the kind of right place whereby maybe I'll be, when you have $500 billion, maybe me, I'll have $100 billion dollars on my account. But if you put me in the wrong place, like the anus of another man, I'll be disease that no man can cure on this planet. And with that, many of you have come across cases of AIDS. How do you think did the AIDS occur in human bodies? How do you think the AIDS did occur in human bodies? How do you think that AIDS did occur in human bodies? Because when Allah created men and women, He said, do not engage in homosexuality or do not engage in same-sex whatever practices, because every semen is an individual. Many of you have come across cases of AIDS. Doctors can tell you that a person who is infected with AIDS or HIV, today he will tell you, come and say, my stomach is killing me. After a few hours, he will say that my legs are kind of, the pain and even the hair, every hair on his whatever will kind of be threaded, because you did put the semen in the wrong place, and once you do that, you've done what is forbidden by holy divine law. That do not do that. Do not engage in such practices. I'm talking to you as a semen. I was put in the right place more than 7,000 years ago in the place in China where I used to live 3 miles from the Forbidden City. I used to live 3 miles from the Forbidden City in Beijing. So I was put in the right place. But when I went, Allah said, go back to planet Earth and teach these people. If they don't change their ways, I may have to either shut down this planet, because today men and women, even in the World Health Organization, they don't understand what their health is and what these diseases mean when they see a disease like HIV, whereby young men and women are exposed to the dangers of disease, and at the same time, these diseases are being promoted worldwide, as our way of life. Your way of life, sure. Your way of life, when your mother did put when your father did put you as a semen in your mother's vagina or in your mother's womb, and your way of life is that you today, a billionaire or whatever, you prefer to put a semen which has the intelligent capabilities of making you say you have $500 billion on your account, which a semen you have in your testicles, which can make up to double that if he's given a chance, and you mess up and you put it in the wrong place. This is what will happen. As I showed you today, as every time that a man releases whatever semen, either in a woman, it's more than 500 semen at one given time. If you release 500 million semen in the anus of a man, each semen is independent. It will either occur as a TB in the body that he has shredded, because it has a program to survive whatever it may. If it enters a wrong place and lives on the disease, what we call the structure of disease, it will be a disease that no one can cure, and each semen will have will come out as different disease. Whereby you saw men who are kind of affected with AIDS, their bodies kind of littered with wounds and tumors. Every part of them threaded into pieces that threaded every tissue of their muscle, threaded. The same because men and women. I'm talking to you as a what? As a semen. Because you as yourself, you are semen. You are whatever between semen and an egg. You were put in the right place. That's why you are living. Don't say that you are wicked, you are that, and you can do as you wish. No, you cannot. one or the other. You put me in the wrong place, I'll catch up with you. One or the other. You put me in the wrong place, I'll catch up with you. That when I mean you put me in the wrong place, you put me in the hands of a man, I'll catch up with you. So, men and women, do not engage in the disease or hazardous sexual practices. Because, and you two women, I must send this warning to you, the so-called mothers, because we are talking about the topic is health. Humanity, sexual health, human dead bodies, and diseases. You as a girl out there, do not allow your so-called boyfriend to kind of you open your mouth and he does put his semen in your mouth. Do you know why you get cancer of the throat? Do you know why you get cancer of the throat? Or do you know why you get cancer of the leukemia? A semen, if it's in the wrong place, it becomes whatever. It can do anything it wants if you put it in the wrong place. And the first thing it does is it genetically alters the body of that individual. That individual's genetic whatever is is damaged. So young girls, I know you may be a good girl, that you have a man that you love. Do not allow him to put his semen in the wrong place. Make sure that he puts those semen in the right place. The right place is your vagina. If they go in your throat, that is a structure of disease. If they go anywhere else other than the vagina, because in your vagina there is a reception, there is a range. We are a VIP range. In the vagina of a woman, in the womb of a woman, there's a VIP range where semen can enjoy, can dance and have a party. But if they enter somewhere where they're not designated, where they're supposed to be, they will shred every tissue, muscle tissue in your body, and they will, and for your information, because a semen has the intelligence capabilities and the program to survive. If it becomes disease, no man can cure the disease. If it becomes a baby, he can live for another 1,000 years, so long as he has that ability to continue living by producing another, falling in love, putting the semen in the right place, and his whatever who can carry on the mantle and have another whatever the line of population will keep running until another 10 or 1,000 years. But if you put me in the wrong place, I'll tell you what, a semen, after it has become a disease, it can easily produce. Because it can easily kind of cross from one whatever to another. It can easily have what we have is print in the human race. Like the AIDS. These are semens. What you see, what causes the shredding of the human tissues in a human who has contracted AIDS. That is what a semen can do. Being in the wrong place, it destroys everything. It kills because it's doing it with hunger. He's asking questions. Why? Why did you put me in the wrong place? When your mother didn't put you in the right place, or your father didn't put you in the right place, why did you have to put me in the wrong place? That's what I said. You may think that you are breaking the holy divine laws, saying that this is your way of life. You do as you wish. No, you don't do as you wish. I'll catch up with you. I'm talking to you as a semen. To show you what a semen is. You imagine even if it was you that you were put in the wrong place, the same thing you do. You are programmed to survive. To survive, if you get an egg, You survive, you become a human being and make $5 billion, whatever, and put it on your account, have a house in whatever, you have a mansion in a holiday, whatever, in Jamaica and whatever. But if you put me in the wrong place, I'll have a big tumor in your lungs and litter it with whatever. My people, I'm talking to you as a semen that has been put in the wrong place. Do not engage in hazardous sexual behaviors because you are human. You are given an intelligence, a percentage of intellectual, whatever, intelligence, a percentage of intelligence or mental development, whereby you can recognize that is your mother. Once that enters your whatever, and you still have a person you call your mother, always look up to her and say, I'll always try and get a woman, whatever come, whatever may. Never place your semen in any other place other than the vagina of a woman. That way, Allah will reward you. But if you do put those semen in the wrong place, the semen will ask questions. And those questions, no man can have an answer to them. The only answer they have is when they are all lying down or stretched up or whatever in deathbeds, whatever. Many of you saw what AIDS can do. And today, in modern men and women, there's a disease which is worse than AIDS. A disease incubating in bodies of human beings, deadlier than AIDS. It's just a matter of time. And whatever the environment, that disease will break loose. Many of you will find it very, very difficult to survive. Because over the years, your body is kind of and for your information, a semen going in the wrong place can reduce the lifespan of a human being as much as by 70%. To reduce it, a semen being in the wrong place, either in a woman but in the wrong place, can reduce the lifespan of that woman by 70%. So, my people, today we are looking at health and what are the sexual or hazardous practices that can cause human bodies to be decimated and threatened by hazardous sexual practices. Many of you today, I hear you call yourselves, either you say I'm a bisexual, and some they say I like men, and yet you're a man who say your mother lives in Worcester, and you live, I don't know where you live, but you have a mother someone you call, and sometimes you call her and say, hey, mommy, how are you? But you are here messing up and saying, I'll put my semen in the wrong place. Man, I've talked to you not as whatever, but as a semen, because my first whatever on this planet was more than 7,000 years ago. And I used to live in a place 3 miles from Beijing, in Beijing, from the Forbidden City. I lived there until I left, and I went back to whatever, and I was sent here again. Many of you may find that kind of whatever, but I don't blame you if you find it a little bit whatever, but I've tried to tell you that do not put semen where they are not supposed to be. Do not put semen where they are not supposed to be. And do not engage in hazardous sexual practices, because they do damage and greatly damage and alter the genetics of human beings. That is all I can say to you. It's been a great time to send my message to you as human beings. This topic has been about sexual health, and I try to show you what are the dangers of engaging in hazardous sexual practices. I have been speaking to you as a seaman, not as a whatever, but as a seaman, showing you that if I do enter a wrong place, I'll become disease, deadly disease, which has a reference already on this planet. And that reference is the HIV or AIDS, whereby AIDS can litter wounds and shred even the hair on a human being. It attacks everything in rage and asking questions. Why did you put me in the wrong place? Why? When your mother did put you in the right place. Your father did put you in the right place, in your mother's vagina. Why didn't you put me in the wrong place? If you want to avoid diseases on this planet, mankind do obey the divine laws that were laid down for human beings to live by those divine laws. Those divine laws were laid down in the holy revelations of the Holy Quran. They were laid down in a book, the Holy Book of Allah, which is called the Holy Quran. I've spoken of sexual hazardous diseases, but with that, there's a reference also on this topic, whereby some of these references are found in your book, which you call the Bible, where they say the people of Noah were kind of destroyed by a flood or whatever, and the people of whatever were kind of thrown through stones of hell from the heavens. Those are references. In modern times today, there's the reference of AIDS and so many other diseases, which I will not go into. But I just want to show you human beings that disease in human bodies, one of more. I'll point this out. I'll highlight it to you, to the medical practitioners, that something like 80% of diseases that occur in human beings, if you try and trace where the origin is, you find that in one way or the other, they have a connection that a semen was put somewhere in the wrong place, either in a woman, and ended up kind of breaking. It crossed over to a new generation, evolving to diseases and the after diseases. So the way you should look and find kind of remedies, because when Allah laid down the divine holy laws that governs human beings, do you know how divine laws works? Prevention is better than cure. That applies to AIDS too. Prevention is better than cure. If you had prevented men from engaging in putting semen in the wrong place, you wouldn't have to run up and down looking for cure for AIDS. You wouldn't. Because that disease wouldn't be in existence. Because it would have been prevented if you had obeyed and adhered to the divine holy laws. But because you said, I feel like this, and this, I said to you, human beings, do not engage in practices that invoke either the semen in you or the red blood cells in your bodies to kind of wage war on you as human beings. Do not. For instance, some of you today in modern times who engage in such a hazardous sexual practices, they say we are not Muslims. Every human being on this planet is a Muslim, whether you like it or not. You may not like to say it in because you have an interest in like what I've just showed you. Because every structure of muscles on your body is built by a red and white blood cell. And the region of that red and white blood cell in your body, the region is of those cells that builds every muscle on your bodies is Islam. So the religion of the sun in the sky is Islam. The religion of the moon in the sky is Islam. The religion of planet Earth is Islam. The religion of the water you drink is Islam. The religion of the air you breathe is Islam. So, you are all living Muslims on this planet. The Holy Quran, or Islam, is the religion of every plant that you've ever put in your stomach. Everything that they've whatever cooked and brought on your table and they call it food, that creation, its origin is Islam. And every glass of water that you drink every other hour, the religion of that water is Islam. So, do understand that the Islam and the Holy Quran is the message in the Holy Quran is a universal message. How you human beings should live in your societies, how you should respect your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, and so on, as well as every other human being. Whoever says otherwise, some of the whatever that those who say we are not Muslims have exhibited what you call their way, which is when you say you are against the religion that builds every muscle on your body, you can easily see that you can easily manufacture a nuclear weapon and say and test it on the environment. You can easily have a nuclear warhead and say, we test it on the environment. Because in Islam, the religion says, prevention is some of the laws. Don't engage in sadistic whatever, whereby you say you find pleasure in exploding and whatever nuclear weapons on the environment or on other human beings. So do not manufacture them. The law would say, do not manufacture nuclear weapons because they are kind of things that are harmful to other human beings, even to yourself as an individual, as well as harmful to the environment. So do not put them on the table. Do not engage in manufacturing them, and do not engage in kind of defaming and disinformation of whatever disinformation that is misleading to others. Because every blood cell, every red and white blood cell in your body, its origin is Islam, and that is what is responsible for building every muscle on your body. Once you say you are fighting whatever you are opposing a holy divine law, it's within you that you kind of attack first, and then when you do it outside, as I showed you, I'm a living semen in your testicles. You, as a man who say you like to put semen in your testicles, in other men's semen, or you like to do, you engage in such practices. I will say to you, the program in me is the same program that you have that has made you to think that you have $5 billion on your account. If you put me in the right place, I might make, and then whatever, I'll be able to double what you made as a man of today. Maybe I'll make $100 trillion and have it on my account, as well as having beautiful children, other than putting them in the anus where they become disease. Okay, that is all we can talk about. I pray that you do understand my situation. That was an interpretation of an ayah of the Holy Quran. The message from the Holy Quran is universal. It speaks of everything that you can you want to know about how to live a beautiful, happy life on this planet. If you do otherwise, Mother Nature in modern times or whatever have come across questions from Mother Nature, questions from the sun in the sky when the temperature goes over 40 and your bodies cannot handle 40 degrees. But the sun in the sky is saying, human beings, what kind of life do you want on this planet? What kind of life do you want on planet Earth? And as many of you are singing a song of global warming, climate change, the questions are still coming. You either put your acts and your minds together, otherwise Mother Nature, the question when Mother Nature asks, none of you can understand the language unless you are guided. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.